25th Feb 2023, King of the Table 6. Denis Cyplenkov made a comeback in arm wrestling more than 4 years after his historic 6-0 victory over Devon Larratt. This time, the arm wrestler on the receiving end of a 6-0 loss was the legend John Brzenk. And now that I think of it, John Brzenk in 2009 could have been Cyplenkov's only super match loss ever. Not saying that he has competed in many super matches, but the ones I have seen him compete in, left or right, he has never lost them. I think he's easily one of the top 3 most decorated super heavyweight arm wrestlers of all times, along with John Brzenk and LEVAN Saginashvili. Andre Pushkar is also right there, but Denis always used to beat him. So what is next for Denis Cyplenkov? Before we discuss that, we need to take a look at his recent 6-0 win over John Brzenk. It is quite evident from that match that Denis Cyplenkov's back pressure, his arm power and his endurance is still at the very top. As soon as the referee said go, Denis immediately pulled John back towards his own side, towards his own pad, and it looked extremely easy. In round 2, when John decided to go for the hook, he immediately found his hand over Denis Cyplenkov's elbow pad. No one has ever been able to do that to John yet since his comeback. Not Ongarbayev, not Irakli, and not even Devon Larratt. So if we consider this back pressure only, he may already be top 5 in the world because he made John look helpless. Now his side pressure and his arm strength. When Denis was hitting sideways, he was losing his wrist every time, at least in the first 2-3 rounds. He had to stand up and wait patiently for John to run out of gas. That's how he beat John Brzenk. Now that can be a matter of concern for the 40-year-old 125 kg Cyplenkov. And talking about his physical shape, he looks very lean, even leaner than what he looked before. And there is also a visible difference in both of his arms. So when he's on the right side of the screen and his left arm is visible on camera, it looks very lean. It looks like Denis is underweight. But when he switches sides, his right arm looks absolutely massive. And the credit for that goes to his giant pumpkin training. Denis has been training only his right arm since his comeback. So now let's talk about the potential super matches. The names that come to my mind when I think of Denis Cyplenkov's opponents, these are in 2 categories. The names that Denis may not be able to beat and the names that Denis will not be able to beat in his current form. Not in the form 1 year from now, current form. So the names that Denis may not be able to beat: Dave Chaffee, Vitaly Laletin, Jerry Caderet, Gennady Quickvinia. So why Dave? Dave is a great top roller. Denis Cyplenkov showed some weakness in his hand. Vitaly again great top roller, really fast. Jerry, great flop presser. Can Denis go inside and beat Jerry in a hook or force Jerry in a hook just like he used to do before? Maybe, maybe not. Gennady, once again, very versatile, will be a difficult opponent. The names that Denis cannot beat now: ERMES Gasparini, Devon Larratt, LEVAN Saginashvili. So at best, Denis can be somewhere around top 5 in the world now. So who is next for Denis? We know his left is injured and he's only training his right arm. So he will be gaining very fast because he only needs to focus on that one arm. Denis already has a super match set up against Devon Larratt at East vs West 8 in October. I believe that if Denis faced Devon instead of John at King of the Table 6, he would have gotten absolutely destroyed by Devon. His hand simply cannot hold Devon's pronation. And now Devon knows where Cyplenkov's weakness is. And coincidentally, that also happens to be Devon's strongest spot. His pronation, his king's move. So it is going to be an extremely long day for Denis in October. Unlike 2018, endurance won't be an issue for Devon because now he isn't 20% weaker than Denis like 2018. So for now, Denis needs to work on his cupping and his pronation to deal with Devon. Denis has said that he would need 1 to 1.5 years to get back in his 100% shape, his peak form. In my honest opinion, I think Denis is taking this match just a little bit early. Because if he's 75% now and he's going to be 100% in more than 1 year, then at most in October, he can be somewhere around 90%. And 90% going up against this monstrous Devon who is once again going to be a super heavyweight by then, is going to be a really difficult task. And there is absolutely nothing more disheartening than seeing a legendary comeback like this getting shut down in an early phase with an early loss. Nobody would like to see that. So if Denis is able to beat Devon Larratt, now that's the question, then give him LEVAN straight away. No one else left. Or maybe ERMES Gasparini if LEVAN isn't available. Or maybe Zaur Pezulaev, depends on where he is at that moment, because he's injured right now. And that's why I didn't mention the name of Zaur in the names that Denis Cyplenkov cannot beat right now. Zaur would be there for sure. So the path to enter top 3 in the world looks extremely difficult for Denis for now. So if John is able to test the hand of Cyplenkov, then guys like ERMES and LEVAN are just going to flop his hand like the wrist isn't even there. During the journey of rising from hospital bed to potentially becoming the #1 arm wrestler in the world once again, Denis needs to be extra careful. And he already is. He is paying a lot of attention towards health checkups and doctor clearances, potentially using less than half of the PEDs that he was using before. He just needs to carry that forward. But there is a big problem. This 125 kilos frame will never be enough for Denis to become #1 once again. He needs to gain muscle mass slowly but safely. And I think I am just repeating what Denis already knows. When you look at Denis, the one word that comes to your mind is professionalism. He is a highly professional athlete. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. And I'm not even talking about the actual match on arm wrestling table. Even outside of that, he's a very calculated human being. He knows what he needs to do in how much time to get at what level. He's just a smart guy. I would also love to see Denis go up against all of the names that I mentioned that he may not be able to beat right now. And I'm talking about after Devon Larratt super match. At that time, if he beats Devon, he may beat all of those names. But if he loses to Devon, at East versus West, I would like to see the matches between Dave Chaffee and Denis Cyplenkov. Denis always used to beat Dave, but they have never faced in a super match format. Now Denis is not 100%. Dave is also not there, but he looks in better shape than Denis. So would love to see that match. Jerry Cadret, that can be interesting as well. These two are potential perfect East versus West matches. Who are you rooting for in that match? Please tell us. Who do you think is going to win between Devon and Denis? And who are you rooting for? And what should Denis do if he loses to Devon and if he beats Devon? Please mention in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again.